Day 109. Many stories. So on this day, this is probably the day that I did the most work for David. But it was mostly David the picker came back in the morning and found a bunch of stuff that he wanted. So most of what I did all day was breaking down shelves and organizing stuff so that David could come and pick it up, and then I would help him load it up as well. But most of the day was just a lot of stories. More stories. I mean, David's mid to late 70s and has just lived a long, full life. He told me about his time in the military and how he was stationed at some base, and he had worked it out to where as long as he was like walking around looking busy, then nobody would ask him to do anything. So for quite some time, he just got paid to just walk around and do nothing. Which the way he tells it's great. He also would tell me about some experiments that they did. He volunteered to be experimented on, but it was just kind of a trip because I know about like MK Ultra and stuff that they were doing, where they were testing mind control substances on people, and that's exactly what they were doing with David. They would inject him with some kind of, I don't know if it was LSD or he didn't know what it was, of course, but yeah, he told me it was a trip, that's for sure. I guess he also was in the infantry on the front lines, and he told me this one story where so I guess he was always the first one out of the barracks in the morning, but on this particular morning he had slept in a bit because the night before he got drunk, and so he slept in a bit, and he was the third person out of the barracks in the morning. And it was a good thing because they came under fire, and the first two people that left the barracks that morning died, and David ended up with shrapnel in his back. He actually showed me the scar, and he still has shrapnel in there. They couldn't get it all out. So that was pretty intense. So as far as war stories, but then he also told me about after he was discharged from the military, he just went to school for for years. He just went to school, and what he did is, because they would pay for his school, he would get money as well. He would just take the minimum amount of courses that he could take, or credits that he could take in each semester, and then he would get paid for that. And then also he would like do random cipher on the side and made a bunch of money. So then after he did that, he started gold mining, and I guess it was actually the property that we were on. He actually had bought that property with the intentions of gold mining that creek, which he tried, but didn't really get anything, I suppose. But okay, so we were in Bigfoot country, so David definitely had some stories, and not only his own encounters, but also just some native lore. The land is surrounded by indigenous peoples, and they have a lot of lore and history. And he told me about, all these, he even showed me the start to they would have these spirit trails that would start at the mouth of the creek, where the creek runs, the confluence between the creek and the Klamath River, and that's where the trail would start, and it would go up into the mountains, and they would go have a spirit journey, which I thought that was pretty cool. David also told me about his son, who was a musician, and I guess he played drums, percussion, but he would play like African drums, like traditional African drums, djembes and whatnot, and had a band for a long time, and he told me all about that. I thought that was cool. David also told me about all of his neighbors, which there aren't a lot of neighbors, but there's a lot of local lore as well, as far as a lot of the property adjacent to his was people growing cannabis illegally in the 60s and 70s and into the 80s even, and it started to fizzle out after that. It was really interesting to hear some of that local lore and some of the crazy antics that went down with the illegal drug trade. I guess that's it for story time for today. But yeah. Anyways, good night. I love you.